Hello, LEB Pack. How are you? Welcome to our second non-WAG, non-episode, our recap. We've decided that after every Baker's Dozen episodes, after every 13 episodes, we're going to do a little sit down, a little recap, and share with you what you just saw, maybe a couple little behind the scenes notes. If you go back and watch the episodes again, you might see something that you might not have seen the first time, and give you a little heads up of what to expect going forward. So the last 13 episodes, there was basically a tectonic shift in Oliver Bentley's in episode 25 and 26. But in the episodes leading up to that, you saw that in small businesses, sometimes things happen. And in episode 14, we had a missing pallet. And we found it the next week, but that was a hard weekend. Everything worked out in the end, but when you're dealing with shipping and receiving and freight forwarding, sometimes things happen. And man, you just have to learn to tap dance and work around it. You saw in episode 15 and a couple of the others in the last Baker's Dozen where we're working on the new historic dog walk tour trifold because the original has OB1 on it. And it's time for OB2 to take his position. So you saw the photo shoots in the first Baker's Dozen. In the second Baker's Dozen, you saw that we were doing a lot of editing to get the trifold ready for print. And you'll see in the next Baker's Dozen coming up after this, how that has panned out. It looks really good, actually. Can you hear that in the earbuds? His little snoring and snorting. He's such a goof. Couple little tidbits. If you go back to WAG 17, there's a funny scene in there when I come home and OB2 is sleeping on a pair of my shoes. Do your dogs do this? It's kind of cute, but it's the craziest thing. If I leave and the dogs are home, you know, they're pretty much sleeping while I'm gone. When I come home, OB2 is almost always sleeping on a pair of my shoes. He dig them out and he sleeps on top of them. It's the cutest thing ever. The other quirky little dog thing is in WAG 19, you saw Abby Girl's wake up routine. She sleeps on her favorite couch. When she comes off the couch, she leaves her hindquarters back on the couch and puts her front paws down on the ground and then does that stretch, literally a downward dog. That is the goofiest, funniest thing. She's got such a big personality. So in WAG 19, you saw that. I just had to film that because that just absolutely cracked me up. In WAG 22, you saw that I had a hard phone call. It happens. Actually, as I'm recording this, today is Tuesday, January 22nd. We got a voicemail yesterday, January 21st, saying that a sweet dog, Rosie, passed away. And their parents are part of our biscuit club, our monthly box, and they said obviously they needed to cancel their biscuit club subscription. So you will see in the previous Baker's Dozen that just went by in WAG 20, I had a tough phone call with the humans for sweet Pippa. So Godspeed, Pippa, you're young again, and there's no leash law in heaven, so you're a running playing fool. And then came WAG 24, when Savannah was invaded by a gaggle of Welsh Terriers. Dozens and dozens and dozens. All part of a group called WTCares. I'll put a link in the description down below. That was the best episode. They literally stopped traffic. People came out on their balconies to come wave at them. We split the group up into two groups. The first tour, everything went perfect. The second tour, everything went perfect all the way up until the last 5 minutes, maybe the last 10 minutes. All of a sudden, a pop-up thunderstorm hit and it poured. That pretty much wrapped it up, but they were such troopers about it and they were so good about it. It really was cool having them. And they found us the way most all people find us, just good old-fashioned Google search and reviews. So we're really thankful that we were able to be at the service of WTCares. And then WAG 25 happened. And WAG 25 is basically a tectonic shift in Oliver Bentley's. The backstory is, ever since the pandemic, We've been operating Oliver Bentley's out of storage units, a home office, and out of a garage shop. We've been making it work, doing different things in different locations, and basically we kept the company going during the pandemic. And now we're at the point where we've been looking for some way to consolidate. Not really actively looking, to be frank. We're making it work and things are going along perfectly well. It's a little bit of juggling some logistics. I mean, obviously, ideally, it'd be nice to have everything under one roof, but I haven't been really looking for anything. There is one space that 6 years ago I did go look at, and it was too much for Oliver Bentley's back then, and it subsequently rented. And a few months ago, I saw that the space looked like it wasn't being used. So I stopped and looked in the windows, and sure enough, it was empty. It's such a great space, I assumed it's for rent. And where it's located, with the way the one-way streets work in Savannah, it's on a particular street, York Street, that is the locals' favorite way of getting to the east side of town without having to deal with all the lights. York Street is like the crafty way to get to the east side of town and get to a street called President Street and get out to the islands. Can you hear him? So the point is, the way the one-way streets work in Savannah, Georgia, I use York Street probably 4 or 5 times a week, and 4 or 5 times a week for 6 years, I've driven by this particular space with a big red barn door, which happens to be sort of a dark burgundy, which happens to be Oliver Bentley's color. So that's kind of cool. And for 6 years, I've driven by and thought, man, that's such a cool space. And then I saw it was empty, no for rent sign. I was asking around, asked a real estate agent friend of mine to help me navigate the public records online, and I found the landlord's name. And the day I found it, a for rent sign pops up in the door. I immediately called. He said I was the first person to call, and he just put the sign up an hour ago. So in WAG 25, you see the raw space. And in WAG 26, I did a walkthrough. Still don't know what's gonna happen. And in the coming episodes, you'll come along on the journey with us as we see if we can make the space work. If it works for the landlord, if it works for us. It's off the beaten path, so as a retail shop, you can make the argument where that could be difficult. It could work as a queuing up spot, a start and end for the historic dog walk tour. It could work based on its size to house everything. We could shut down 2 storage units. We could stop doing the order processing out of a garage shop. We could put everything under one roof. I could not have to work from home office, have everything under one roof. So in the coming episodes, you're going to come along with us in the journey of creating a business proposal and talking to the landlord and seeing if we can make it work. So in the previous Baker's Dozen, it seemed like business as usual, sort of the ebbs and flows of running a small business, having your dogs with you 24/7, having a particular dog who snores even when he's wide awake, or no, you're asleep. So there's always some fun moments. You saw Oliver Bentley's and all of its craziness, and then in WAG 25, everything changed. So enjoy the next Baker's Dozen of episodes and come along in the journey with us. If you're not already subscribed, would you hit subscribe? We'd love to have you as part of our pack. Hit the like button because the algorithm likes that. And we'll see you in the next episode. Be well, be safe, give your pack a hug from us. Be kind to one another. And as pet parents and dog lovers, no matter where we are, no matter what language we speak, if we're dog lovers, we're all united through dogs. And we will snore and bark back to you next time. All right, come on. We've got to get to work. Nap time's over, buddy.